Alberta Class 4 Permit Practice Test Reviewed. Welcome to Wild Rose Country. Obtaining your Class 4 license in Alberta opens the door to professional driving, from taxis and rideshares to small buses and ambulances. Navigating the QEII or the mountain passes requires a professional mindset and a commitment to passenger safety. Let's get you ready for the big day. What is the maximum passenger capacity for a vehicle driven with a Class 4 license? 24 passengers, excluding the driver. This covers everything from high-capacity vans to small shuttle buses. Next question. In Alberta, how often must a Class 4 driver undergo a medical examination? Every 5 years until age 45, then every 2 years. Staying healthy is a job requirement when you are responsible for the lives of others. Let's move on. When driving a taxi or rideshare, who is responsible for ensuring passengers under 16 use seatbelts? The driver. As the professional behind the wheel, the safety of your young passengers is in your hands. Next point. When must a trip inspection be performed on a commercial vehicle? Every 24 hours and recorded in a report. Regular checks ensure that small mechanical issues don't turn into dangerous failures on the road. Let's keep going. What is the danger zone around a bus? The area extending 3 meters, 10 feet, all around the bus. This is where visibility is lowest and the risk of striking a pedestrian is highest. Next question. Drivers of buses, including Class 4 buses, must stop at railroad crossings except if the crossing is within a business or residential district. Outside of these areas, you must always stop and look before crossing the tracks. Let's move on. What is the recommended following distance for a commercial vehicle under ideal conditions? At least 4 seconds. Heavier vehicles take longer to stop, so you need that extra time to react. Next point. Under Alberta's Hours of Service rules, what is the daily driving limit? 13 hours. Fatigue is a major hazard. These limits are in place to keep tired drivers off the road. Let's keep going. How many hours of off-duty time must a driver have in a day? 10 hours. Proper rest is essential for maintaining the focus required for professional driving. Next question. When a bus is entering a roadway from a bus stop, what must other drivers do? Yield to the bus if it has its signal on. Helping transit move smoothly keeps traffic flowing for everyone. Let's move on. If a passenger is being disruptive or unruly on a small bus, the driver should stop the vehicle in a safe place and ask them to leave or call for help. Never compromise the safety of the vehicle or other passengers by engaging while driving. Next point. What must be carried in a commercial vehicle as emergency equipment? Fire extinguisher, warning triangles, flares, and a first aid kit. Being prepared for the unexpected is part of the professional driver's code. Let's keep going. What is off-tracking? When the rear wheels follow a shorter path than the front wheels. This is why you must square off your turns to keep the rear wheels on the pavement. Next question. When backing a small bus or large van, the most important rule is avoid backing whenever possible. Most low-speed collisions happen in reverse. If you can drive forward, do it. Let's move on. In Alberta, a Class 4 driver is considered impaired at what BAC if they are operating a CMV? 0%. Zero tolerance for commercial operation. When you are on the clock, there is no room for alcohol in your system. Next point. What is the purpose of a pre-trip inspection? To ensure the vehicle is safe to operate before starting. Catching a flat tire or a fluid leak in the yard is much better than catching it on the highway. Let's keep going. How far back from a railroad crossing should a bus driver stop? Between 5 and 15 meters from the nearest rail. Give yourself enough room to see clearly without being in the path of the train. Next question. When a vehicle is equipped with air brakes, a Class 4 driver must also have a Q endorsement. Operating air brakes requires specialized knowledge and a separate certification. Let's move on. What should a driver do if they suspect they are becoming fatigued? Pull over in a safe location and rest. Coffee and loud music are no substitute for actual sleep. Next point. When discharging passengers from a bus, the driver should ensure the passengers have a safe path away from the vehicle. Your responsibility doesn't end until the passengers are safely on the sidewalk. Let's keep going. What is the primary cause of skidding? Driving too fast for the road conditions. Ice and rain require you to adjust your speed downward immediately. Next question. When driving a taxi or rideshare at night, the driver should keep the interior lights off while driving. Glare from inside the vehicle makes it much harder to see what is happening outside on the road. Let's move on. In a professional driving environment, defensive driving means anticipating hazards and making adjustments to avoid them. Don't just react to what happens. Look ahead and predict what might happen. Next point. If you are involved in a collision where someone is injured, you must stop and remain at the scene, provide assistance, and call 911. Leaving the scene of an injury accident is a serious criminal offense. Let's keep going. A trip inspection report must be kept in the vehicle for at least the current day and the previous 7 days. You must be able to prove to an inspector that your vehicle has been checked regularly. Next question. Why should you check your mirrors every 5 to 8 seconds? To stay aware of the traffic situation and blind spots. Frequent scanning keeps you from being surprised by a vehicle merging into your path. Let's move on. When parked on an uphill with a curb, which way should you turn the wheels? To the left, away from the curb. This ensures that if the vehicle rolls, the curb will stop it. Next point. What is the minimum tread depth for front tires on a commercial vehicle? 3. 2 mm, 1/8 inch. Good tread is vital for steering and stopping, especially in Alberta's winters. Let's keep going. If a fire occurs in the engine compartment, you should keep the hood closed and aim the extinguisher through the grill or from underneath. Opening the hood provides the fire with a blast of oxygen, making it much worse. Next question. When transporting passengers, when should you refuel the vehicle? Only when there are no passengers on board. Fumes and safety risks mean you should always fill up before you pick up your fares. Let's move on. What should you do if your brakes fail while going down a hill? Pump the brakes, downshift, and look for an escape ramp. Use every tool available to scrub off speed before an impact occurs. Next point. When is it legal for a taxi driver to refuse a passenger? If the passenger is disorderly or could be a safety risk. Your right to a safe working environment means you don't have to take a threatening fare. Let's keep going. What is hydroplaning? When tires lose contact with the road and float on a layer of water. If this happens, stay off the brakes and let the vehicle slow down naturally. Next question. When driving through a construction zone in Alberta, the fines for speeding are doubled. These workers are out there to improve our roads. Slow down to keep them safe. Let's move on. What is the system of vehicle control? A disciplined way of approaching and negotiating hazards. Following a consistent system ensures you never skip a safety step. Next point. How often should you check your instruments, gauges, while driving? Frequently, as part of your regular scanning routine. Your gauges are the only way to know if your engine is overheating or your oil pressure is dropping. Let's keep going. When approaching a pedestrian crossover, you must yield to pedestrians and not pass any other vehicle. Pedestrians have the right of way. Give them the space they need to cross safely. Next question. In Alberta, who is required to wear a seatbelt in a taxi? Everyone in the vehicle. Seatbelts save lives in every type of vehicle, regardless of the distance traveled. Let's move on. What should you do before starting a descent on a steep hill? Downshift to a lower gear to use engine braking. Control your speed before the hill gets steep so you don't overheat your brakes. Next point. What is the correct way to handle a blowout tire burst? Grip the steering wheel firmly and stay off the brakes until speed is reduced. Sudden braking during a blowout can cause you to lose control of the vehicle entirely. Let's keep going. What does a flashing amber light on a vehicle usually indicate? A service or slow-moving vehicle. Give these vehicles extra room and be prepared for them to stop or turn unexpectedly. Next question. When using warning triangles for a disabled vehicle on a highway, where should they be placed? One at the front, one at the rear, and one further back, approximately 30 meters. Warning other drivers early gives them time to move over and avoid your vehicle. Let's move on. A driver's logbook, if required, must be up to date to the last change of duty status. Keep your records current so you are always ready for a roadside inspection. Next point. When driving a large van or small bus, how should you enter a curve? Slow down before entering the curve. Braking inside a curve can cause the vehicle to lean or skid. Get your speed right first. Let's keep going. What is the most common cause of distracted driving accidents? Using a handheld cell phone. No message or call is worth the risk of a collision. Put the phone away. Next question. What must you do if you strike an unattended vehicle? Try to find the owner or leave a written notice with your details. Honesty is the only professional way to handle a mistake in a parking lot. Let's move on. How do you check for leaks in a hydraulic brake system? Pump the pedal 3 times and hold for 5 seconds. It shouldn't move. If the pedal sinks, you have a leak that must be fixed before you drive. Next point, when must you use your headlights in Alberta? From 1 hour after sunset to 1 hour before sunrise, and when visibility is poor. Being seen is just as important as being able to see. Let's keep going. A Class 4 driver should keep their interior clean and professional because it promotes passenger safety and professional image. A clean vehicle tells your passengers that you take your job and their safety seriously. Next question. What is the 3-point contact rule? Always having 2 hands and 1 foot, or vice versa, on the vehicle when climbing in, out. Slips and falls during entry or exit are common injuries for professional drivers.